And just like that, Rowley bring house Negro into the conversation, boy. But he say Negro. He say house nigga. He say when Kamala call here a Oreo, she call him a house nigga. As your prime minister. The way a prime minister do it. Because I want Trinidad, I don't know, I'm going to try and put this in small words. Morvan, Beetham, Lavantel, Sealots, River Estate, Patna, Bagatelle, Covine, Rich Plain, Mason, La Puerta, Sanganga, Abipujad, Big Yard, Caranal, Scorpion, Never Dirty, Harden Place, Waterhole, Cocorite, Gonzales, Belmont, Baghdad, Beverly Hills, Enterprise, and Bacadela, Hoqueta, Talparo, all of these communities, all of them, South Port of Spain, East Port of Spain, all of these communities are a hostage situation. They are a hostage situation. The PNM has enslaved the minds of the grandchildren of Africa, but they get away. They're escaping. They're escaping. They're starting to loosen. When them boys skate that water on Fitzgerald Hines, PNM want to pretend that UNC could convince black people to skate water on a Rasta man. Indian have that power over black people. No matter how much jersey they get them. Because there's plenty jersey pass through Beetham and Beetham still Beetham. Beetham still Beetham. Nothing don't change in Beetham, you know. Suffering every day. There was a line, a verse in Nature's Plan. Black man's life is a torture. Nature make him a slave. Trinidad is a nightmare for the poor man from cradle to the grave. It is a hostage situation. The people in Abi Pujad are hostages and they may know. But you see, I want to tell you, they're breaking free. When Rowley, now I want to deal with Rowley because that sentence exposed the dark heart of this villain, you know. King of the infidels, he's cornered. He is cornered. He is being hung on the petard of his own words and his own actions. And he don't know how to deal with that. You see, when Rowley say, when Kamala called me a Oreo, she was calling me a house nigger. It was to dig deep in black people, boy. That word, you see that word? God, boy. Even when black people call black people, what's up, my nigga? Even that have a kind of effect. First you think and then you think. Because it's a hard word. Taken from the word, bastardized from the Spanish word negra for black. Syrians in Trinidad and Tobago is called black people abid, which I found out is another word for slave. Abid, Oreo, house nigger. Why you think all that in the national conversation all of a sudden? You know why it's in the national conversation all of a sudden? Because black people realizing that black people being used. Black people realizing that the PNM is the black people party. Black people realizing that they have too many people in the PNM that not black, that benefiting from everything that they suffer for. That all the jam on the pressure. They have some people who believe that religion is for suffer my ass on earth and God will bless me in heaven. Which is not the purpose of religion. Jesus Christ didn't come here for that. But we'll deal with that another day. Black people in Trinidad and Tobago have been pressed down. Morgan Job and Rowley. Morgan was blacker than you. So when you say you was the blackest man in the kingdom, you lied. Morgan Job was blacker than you. And Morgan Job gave his life. Morgan Job was quite possibly, you see Boti Wari and Wayne Kublal Singh and these fellas who was walking around dragging their friggin' degrees behind them. I mean, shit hounds to Morgan Job. Morgan Job is quite possibly the greatest mind, maybe after CLR James, but I didn't know CLR James, but I knew Morgan Job. And Morgan Job was a brilliant, brilliant scholar. They had more words and knowledge in Morgan's head than could come out his mouth. You could see sometimes, if you were in a serious debate with Morgan Job, he used to step back and smile. His eyes, he used to smile with his eyes. And you could tell, at that moment, the traffic police in his head was trying to control flow of information, because it was a lot. Morgan Job went to national fame when he went on radio Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1 and told the nation that black people were being used as voter banks by the PNM, and he didn't lie. You see, Eric Williams was the great enslaver. The name of this video, read it properly, you know. Governmental lies and political deception. Black people know that PNM and Bill Carney. They knew, they always knew. Black people always knew. You know, you could tell. When you abuse a woman, you take advantage of a woman, you treat her bad, and you think she will always be there, she will always be there. But you see, the day she wake up, something changed, something click, something shift. You no longer have no power over her. That moment, everything that she always knew, but she used to lie to herself and to you to keep the grand deception going. All of a sudden, you know, the lies don't work no more. The lies don't work no more. Everything that you and she used to pretend was reality, you see in her eyes the moment that you know, I've lost this one, because she is now dealing only with reality. And black people in Trinidad and Tobago knew, they always knew, they just let it slide, that their role in society wasn't to be mashed down and climbed up on. There wasn't supposed to be drawers of water and hewer of wood. Eric Williams consigned them to that. Eric Williams removed these black people who were at a very high level and going higher under the Queen. Education, development. Listen, we were putting world scholars on the national and the international scene. Trinidad and Tobago were putting world scholars. At every level, we've put names into the world because of the Queen. Because of the education that Eric Williams came and tinker with and twist it to fool black people. Indian people still had a Bades and a Capaldeo and a Sakmaraj. But all the black leaders sell out. All of them. Like the media. Boy, frig them we. Where are for me? 2 HTC contract and a house. I'm not taking that. Black people had no leaders. They turned to Eric Williams, whose mission it was to enslave them. Eric Williams' greatest accomplishment in his life was to re-enslave the free slaves in Trinidad and Tobago without using one physical chain and one physical whip. And they were as enslaved and worse. And worse. Eric Williams destroyed the progress that the grandchildren of Africa were making in Trinidad and Tobago. And when he called himself the father of the nation, he didn't mean father like a father that cared about the family, you know. He meant Don Dada. That's what he meant. Big shot, village ram. That kind of father who don't actually raise the children. They don't actually get involved. They just claim, I'm the picnic. Them 3 and those 4 are my picnic. Not wrong, you know. His work is to share licks. Share freaking licks, that's it. Not to come and sit down and do homework and mold minds, develop character and teach personality. Words like integrity, personal mission statement, morals, ethics. Frig that. Under Eric Williams, black people became a tool to be used, a donkey to be ridden. And they rode them hard. But black people are not stupid people. A lot of the things that we take for granted in the world came out of Africa, came from African minds. Brilliant, brilliant. We would have never reached the moon if it wasn't for 4 black women and their mathematical abilities. The traffic light was invented by a black man. Things that you all don't know. The television set was invented in Trinidad and Tobago. You all don't know that, possibly in Santa Cruz. Black people are not stupid people. But like any people, if pressed down and kept down, could be dumbed down. And that's what the PNM education did. Certain Uncle Toms were raised up who, like the proverbial house Negro from slavery days, mission was, you be black and keep the other black people in check and I'll fix you. The East Indian people in Trinidad and Tobago, while suffering under Eric Williams and the PNM, still had leadership and community. And because they were left out of Trinidad and Tobago, were allowed to keep their culture and their cohesion. Mova, Bitam, Lavantel, and Silots have no community. Neighbor, neighbor, uncle, auntie, tanty. But let things get hard, you're robbing, raping, and cutting the throat. Because people will prey on people if they don't see them as family. The East Indian people had no choice but to take their salary from Tate and Lyle in rum and flour and split peas and oil. Money was rare for the Indian community, cut off from Trinidad and Tobago. They didn't have roads. They didn't have water, sewage. They didn't have electricity. In the 80s, I had a gentleman working for me as a salesman, and he had a battery-operated TV. He told me, boss, electricity never reached down where we live in, you know. And that was the 80s. Sad. What Eric Williams did to the recalcitrant minority, because he wanted to prove a racist point, that if you separate the races and you put them to war with each other, you could control both and take what you want, do what you like. That was like Patrick Solomon and Johnny O'Halloran and OI and them fellas. They had a time. They had a time. Poon tip on them like up themselves. Well, Albert Gomes. These fellas had a ball. These fellas had a ball, I tell you, a ball. But all things at some point must come to an end. Chickens come home to roost. You see, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago knew that they knew something, but they didn't know that they knew. And they didn't know that they didn't know that they knew. So getting them to know that they knew was my job. But it break it open. And all of a sudden, the people who was cussing me, you know, I don't like how you just talk, Philip, but you see them words you just say, boy, it lashing me proper. Them is the kind of licks I want. People tell me, fella, the first time I hear you talk, I didn't like you. The second time I hear you talk, you get me vexed. The third time I had to say the talking the truth. But that was my mission. Because I was willing to bet that people knew, even if they didn't know that they knew. And that they didn't know that they didn't know that they knew. So now that they know that they didn't know that they knew, they undoing that they didn't know. So now they're going to know that they knew. And that is a different time. Because now you're dealing with people not just informed. Informed is good, but awake. As a different animal, an awake man will not be kept down. An awake woman cannot be marginalized. You can't beat an awake woman. I remember telling a woman a story once about a friend of mine. I'll never trust, I call her the selfie queen, I'll never trust her again. 2 weeks later, she tell me the same exact story that I tell her about my friend, like it was her story. I'll never trust her. I hear she doing videos now and think, wait it out. Wait it out. Like I had to go on a wall tonight and talk to Anil Miraj and David Singh and a couple of these people that we had to just discard. Because they're full of shit. They're foreign-based, and this is not a bad thing. We have plenty foreign-based, but you're foreign-based and you want to control the conversation, but you're not here. Anyway, an awake woman, a friend of mine, got into a relationship with a man who was a notorious abuser. He was a notorious woman beater, and I told her, she said, Monkey know which street I climb. He will never try that with me, because she was well known for her big mouth. And I thought he couldn't touch her. And he beat her one night. And he wake up the next morning with the biggest knife that they had in the butcher block, rests on his chest. And she's sitting on a chair watching him. She tell me the story, you know. I tell other women the story, selfie queen thief the story and pretend it's she. But this is a friend of mine who I can bring on the video right now because she's here and she's watching. And she sit down watching the man. So when he wake up, he jump. Because somebody watching him, she's sitting down right there watching him in his face. When he jump, he feel the knife on his chest. He put his hand and pick it up and he pick it up. And she watch him and she watch the knife and she said, the next time you hit me, don't fall asleep. She get up and she walk out of the room. The relationship didn't last much longer. But the son of a bitch never raised his hand to that woman again. She said, if you hit me again, don't fall asleep. You're clicking like, come on, I'll bring you on, you know, you can tell them. Anyway, awake people are powerful people. Awake people don't get distracted by bullshit. Awake people can't be led astray. Awake people have an understanding of what they're for, what they're not for, what they're entitled to, and what your role in their life is. See them four things? That's important. When people know what each other's roles in each other's lives is, something blossoms. You know that? You know what blossoms? Respect. Respect blossoms. Respect is, I see you and you see me, and both of we know we here with each other's permission. That's respect. Respect blossoms when people know why they're in each other's lives. And the mission has always been to wake the people up. Wake them up. That's why sometimes I speak. Now, Anil Maraj tonight put up a post and he pretend to cuss and he gets some likes and shares. Ironically, one of the clowns who says that I cuss too much or I talk too hard. But what he doesn't understand is, I'll tell you again, for it to reach the bottom rung, you see when they watch me, there's a 1%. Half a 1%. What you have to tell me that we are not, you have to be able to walk with kings and not lose the common touch. Talk with the common man and not lose your virtue. You have to be able to speak to everybody at the level that they understand. And I can come every night and impress you with multisyllable language and verbal dexterity, but it will affect you and it will miss everybody else. When people share my video, they don't ask one another, what he say there? Everybody understands. From the top down, bottom up, everybody understands. Long rope for maga boat, time longer than twine. You talk like that, yeah. My mom used to tell me the same thing. Who don't hear us feel? Stick brick in your ears. We really have a problem in Trinidad and Tobago with governmental lies and political deception. What the people always knew was that the PNM didn't build Caroni. Caroni was there, or what became Caroni was there for 400 years. 400 years. And became Tate and Lyle for about 250 of them years. And then Eric Williams, in a fit of madness, trying to make Trinidad a communist state, seized everybody's shit. Eric Williams isolated Trinidad and Tobago from the world. Nobody trusted us. Because he seized British Petroleum and he seized Shell and he seized Texaco and rammed them together and call it Trintoc and open Petrotrin. That day, Trinidad Petrotrin, one of the first refineries in the world. Long before Eric father was sperm in his father balls, Petrotrin was there. But PNM like to pretend, I give all of that. I come along and I change the name of the tree. And now I make the whole tree. That's what PNM like to do. I give all the Caroni. They talk about Point Lisas. Point Lisas failed. How many of you knew Point Lisas failed? How many of you knew Point Lisas never gave a return on investment? How many of you know that Point Lisas has been an expedition into theft and corruption on a massive scale? You all spell Romy? I know the foreigners just call it Rummy, but in Trinidad we call it Romy. Always play 500 Romy. If you could play 500 Romy, you know how to send card to bring card. You have 4 trees in your hand. So you put down one of the trees. But you can't put down just any one of the trees. You have to put down the tree that you have either the 2 or the 4 or both 4, so that nobody could take that tree. When you put that card down, the only person who could pick up that card is you. Because you have all the cards that that card could link up with. And you put that card to send that card to get card. And everybody dropping card. And you watching, because generally, to win 500 Romy, the more cards you have at any given time, you control the game. So your card pulling card. That's what the PNM do. Send Point Lisas to thief money. Take treasury money, call it an investment, sign all kind of shit. Every time they sign something, the IDB, well, Frank, if the IDB betting on we, they're not betting on you, jackass. China is not betting on Trinidad and Tobago, jackass. China wants the security. They want to levy. IDB, no, you have to pay. We's a jackass nation, ballhead jackass, go on Guyana and say, don't forget we write off billions of debts. That was not PNM money to write off. Trinidad was supposed to levy on Guyana. How could you easily say, like it was PNM money? PNM give this country nothing. When you go Wallafield, even Mother Nature catching her ass to take back the roads the Yankees built World War II in the 40s, nearly 80 years ago. The Yankees built that road to Maracas Beach. You know that? That's why it lasts. If Junior Samuel Kusals had built that road, it fall in Maracas Bay a long time. We don't build things to last here. We build a runway in a brand new airport and nearly cause plane to crash. That's what we good for. But you could still land a plane in Chagaramas. Yankee built that runway. And it's 80 years old. And it's still rock solid and strong. PNM gave this nation nothing that we could boast about. The PNM gave Trinidad and Tobago an inferiority complex, a failure to understand our role as citizens, a broken cesspool third world banana republic narco state, opened the borders for criminal drug runners that we've known about, involved with the government since the Scott drug report. A country so broken that the drug dealers stopped the government from publishing the results of a commission of inquiry into the drug trade. This nation, so broken, anything that we inherit, still working. You know, you could find the train line still in Trinidad and Tobago. There a man chart the whole train line. There are places the train line still stand up. Check priority bus route now. Today I demonstrated to Trinidad and Tobago by calling the tourism ministry to get answers to the gangsterism taking place on the beach, and spoke to all manner of people in all manner of positions. Everybody had assistants. Everybody had, they had senior and junior, and senior have an assistant and junior have an assistant. And nobody in the entire thing could answer me until the corporate communications officer, Bobby Rogers, because I was getting names like Kelly and Bobby, and it was like a fun little party. Bobby called me back, and Bobby called to try a skimmy-dimmy with Philip Alexander. You know what you're talking about. This is tourism ministry. I come to put you in your place. Put me in my place, lover. Let me go. First of all, in the first place, and I love that, you know. I love when people try to put me in my place because all you know me, I say arguing jackass. Let me go. In the first place, Maracas Beach is the responsibility of the Ministry of Works because it's an active construction site. I say, ma'am, are you saying that the public has access to an active construction site? I called local government, South Governmental Regional Corporation. They told me that tourism ministry is responsible. That means life, dismemberment, injury, and death. Your responsibility. Well, it was an act of parliament or an act of cabinet, and I said, did that act change to pass the authority to the Ministry of Works? No. So it's your responsibility. And at that moment, if you listen to the video, you hear when Bobby loses her shit. Because Bobby realizes that unlike her, I am not suffering under a PNM education. There are no fetters and foulings on my mind. It is not constrained by what you say I accept. And she realized in that moment, not only did she paint herself into a corner, she had done so arrogantly and left herself no escape. And I promised Trinidad and Tobago, because that is the second time I had to do that exercise. The first time was Carib Brewery, when I had to take apart the entire McEnany, Sabga, Answer, Alston's group to expose a gas leak that nearly poisoned Mount Hope, that they and Guardian Media hid from Trinidad for a week. And systematically, with persistence and precision, we prosecute the issue. We ask a question, and we build our questions on your responses. We build our questions on your responses. You said that you watched me live talk to the police and make a report. I asked you if you knew what was going on. You said no. I said, does anybody know what's going on in Maracas Beach? You're responsible. She said, well, when I said to Trinidad and Tobago, nothing in this country works, it was 2 years ago. January, I told Trinidad and Tobago, all the pieces, January, all the pieces are on the board. Publicly, I said this. And I said this to all of the media. All of the pieces are on the board for a hostile takeover of Petrotrin. January, when I bust the mark about what was going to happen with the Tobago Sea Bridge, 4 months before everybody else, you know, fixing TNT, the selfie queen, and others jumping, flex a little bit, get bored, and go on. Issue a fix. The issue a fix. But they big up themselves. Couple people putting out some videos since Petrotrin start. Because they work in Petrotrin, soapbox, start up. I always knew. I want to ask all of them, Redos, Tony BDC, I want to ask you all a question. If you always knew, how come you didn't tell nobody? Both all you and the rest. All you has so much information now that the mark bus. How come all you didn't tell nobody before? How come? Like the supervisor of insurance, the central bank governor, the minister of finance, and Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj told the world in 2002 that CLICO was technically insolvent. It was a term that required that the supervisor of insurance step in and that the central bank governor demand 2 seats on the board because it could fall over, and if it fall over, it's too big to fail. It could pull down the economy. Not yet 8 years later. So said, so done. All of the people who suddenly have a voice. This young lady, Devika Ali, tonight. I want to tell you what Devika Ali stand alone among some Philip haters and put them in their place. This small, frail little woman, and turn our whole conversation around. Hear what she tell them. And this is why I believe in human nature. I believe that among all the stunt artists and the overnight celebrities who quick to jump up on an issue after the mark bus, it takes courage, it takes belly, backbone, and balls to stand up when you are in the minority. The lady said on the thread, you guys are such hypocrites. If it wasn't for Philip and the EP, we would still be in the dark about so many issues affecting Trinidad and Tobago. He became our collective voice, and now all of a sudden you don't like his tone. I agree that there are times his words wasn't suited on the situation, but he has come a long way and will continue to get there. Thank you, darling. At least he is not too arrogant to admit when he is wrong, and he takes responsibility for his words and actions. When he becomes Prime Minister, I love your faith. When he becomes Prime Minister, I'm sure he will be as diplomatic as is required. But for now, his personality is exactly what is needed to wake up hard-headed people. Trinidadians need that big stick approach sometimes. People will make all sorts of excuses to keep voting UNC and PNM, also known as race. But now you are a further trying to split votes. At least he's on ground zero trying to do something. If you stop to think about it, you would realize that he does what he does with a lot of raw emotion and passion for the people. It is that emotion and passion that causes the tone, because he is fighting a very difficult fight that nobody else wants to take on. And if your reason for jumping ship is because of his tone, then you haven't learned anything yet. Take care. And little Devika Ali shut big hardback men up because she exposed the hypocrisy. And as I've told you before, the Jesus Christ who lined and had dinner with tax collectors, prostitutes, and lepers hated one type of people and cursed one type of people, hypocrites. In the Bible, Jesus Christ called them broods of vipers and empty tombs. And I have to tell one of them, I detest hypocrites. You could be strong, have the courage of your convictions, even if you're wrong. I have been wrong. And I know what it is like to be wrong and strong and find out that I'm wrong. But I'll come back and tell you, hey, you know, you was right. I've said so publicly. To those who want to attack my tone, this was the same guy that was the media sweetheart. I was on morning shows every week. There were times when I was on Fazil's show, then Hema, and Hema, then Fazil, and the producers calling, we want you first. I never hold a public office. I was on the radio every morning for 2 years, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Had the diplomacy required to carry that. How many of you who are pulling at my shirt now, how many of you could do that? How many? It's easy to cuss Michael Jackson, but you can't dance like Mike. Easy to cuss Michael Jordan, but you can't bounce a ball. It's easy to cuss Brian Lara in the wicket, but face that cork ball now. This mission is to rescue Trinidad and Tobago. This is a rundown for our work. So if your interest is not a better Trinidad and Tobago, don't do no harm now. Don't do no wrong. Don't interfere with the people who actually trying to fix it. The entire bunch of you, the leadership of that party do not live in Trinidad and Tobago, have not called Trinidad and Tobago home for decades. And we appreciate your interest still, but do no wrong. First, do no wrong. If you can't help people, at least don't hurt them. Don't lead them astray. Don't. Governmental deception and political lies. Nothing that the PNM touch works. Eric Williams interfered with what was the highest standard of education in the Western world and ruined it. Eric Williams did that. When Patrick Manning and Kamala and them talk about they build 9,000 schools, you're building school, but you're not educating anybody. Morgan Job used to call them certificate mills. Functional illiterates coming out at the end of the day. Don't know how to critically deduce or logically think. Can't construct a cohesive sentence. Eric Williams do that. But before he touch it, before he gave black people a school, he had to ruin it. He had to ruin it. Public health had to be ruined so that friends could build hospitals and make big money. Public health, ruin it. Take the black man off the land. Fool him. You know, work so hard. Agriculture, come now, man. I will give you money. It became a running joke. 16 men to dig one hole. Trinidad and Tobago. Where? When the chickens coming home to roost? The when it come is now. We used to talk then. A day will come when all you will rue wasting this money. That day has arrived. We eat, we burp, we loosen we belt, we eat again. The bill come. The bill come. Yes, Yvette. Not one government in our history has acted in defense of the people. You are absolutely correct. And if anybody tell you different, they lie. Because Pandey come and Pandey go, and Kamala come and Kamala go, and Manning come and Manning go, and Rowley here, and Rowley gonna be gone, and the police service is shit, and public health is shit, and education is shit. We can't feed ourselves. We grow in gas stations, Cineplex, and strip mall on food-bearing land. Kamala know about that. Actually, Kamala can't talk about China and Labray because Kamala pour in the Chinese mouth in Vancouver Hospital, billions of dollars. She know. It will come due just now. She know. Pandey know what Ish Brian and them take. In Piaco, Pandey know. Pandey know what he let Dupree get away with for a stupid £1 million donation. Pandey know. Talking about constitution reform. What should I need before constitution reform is a government to lock up past ministers and prime ministers that abuse this country. We need justice more than anything else, and we need justice upon the top. You see all them little black and chicken running around playing shoot them up style? All of them will rest down them guns if they see that they have a government that's serious about justice. It can't just be small man justice. Up on the top, you see them big guys shirt and tie Chamber of Commerce briefcase toting bandits. Them need to be brought to justice too. Because when you're serious and you're a government and you start to bring people money back, when they hear a house and cars was repossessed in Goodwood Park or Sinclair and put on the market and auctioned all the interior furnishings, auctioned all the clothes, all the jewelry, auctioned everything. We recovered $82 million. Put that back in the treasury. You're still owing $250 million. Where are you getting that money from? justice. Rakib Hossain, I don't want to cuss you, so let me tell you, do not think that the PEP is like your PNM and the UNC. If you do not like what you are hearing, leave the world. We have already done without holding public office more than most. I got a highway built in Diego Martin. Yes, the UNC take credit for it, but I designed it. And that information is in the public space forever, even though the PNM actually took down the Government Information Services website page that showed that it was me. Google still have it. So even though the Google search results go into a blind link, the Google search results still there. And it mustn't be about boasting, but it must be about acknowledging. So when people talk shit, you must show them. Organize the handicapped spaces for the disabled in Trinidad and Tobago without Parliament writing a law. Lobbied for and got a children's bill and a Dangerous Dog Act. Lobbied for and got those things. Got subventions for the orphans, have fed the homeless for the past 25 years. We've been working hard in this country for people who will never be able to vote for me. I have watched orphans grow from babies to man and woman. I have watched homeless people age and die on my watch, while the PNM and the UNC play the key. While they play the key, nothing in this country works. Criminals and bandits and their sycophantic trolls. They have people whose ass dragging in the mud and they defending the mud, you know, and they defending the dragon because they don't know better. They don't know better. Trinidad is a hostage situation. The government, this PNM government, this nasty. When Keith Rowley told the nation that when Kamala called me an Oreo, she meant I was a house nigger. Brother, she can't make people believe that. They believe that because of you, because of your actions, because of your behavior, because of all you've done. Because despite the fact that you are the member of Parliament for Diego Martin West, you consider that you only represent a certain class of people. And in case you forget, because it is not Kamala or me that's saying this, it is you.
I went to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in August 2003 as a Minister of Government in Trinidad and Tobago, a PNM Minister, and told him that there was bid rigging taking place in Unicott.
As your Prime Minister, Oreo. That's your Prime Minister who went to his Prime Minister at the time, Patrick Manning, in August 2003 and told him that there was massive bid rigging and corruption taking place in Unicott. But Manning dismissed him and Rowley cocked his ass in the cabinet, ate cabinet food, drank cabinet wine for 6 years till he got himself fired in 2009.
What the Commission of Inquiry is looking at is 10 times worse than what happened with the Airport.
Unlike Emailgate, I want to tell you something here. Criminals have an ability, a pattern. Real police and investigators tell you, no, just judge them by the patterns. Rowley have a pattern. Rowley did this in the Parliament. I went to the Prime Minister in August 2003. Wait till 2009 to tell us. The next time he did that was with Emailgate. I got this in my mailbox. And it told that the government was going to kill a journalist. So I waited for 6 months. I gave it to the president and I said, hey, Max, how that sounding to you? You ever hear the joke about a fella who woke up to KFC counter with a little piece of a sandwich? He said, I order a zinger. And I bite it. And I say, wait now. This ain't tasting like a zinger. This tastes like a cruncher. I bite it again and chew. I say, but it really tasted like a cruncher. I hand it to my partner and say, bite that and see what that tastes like. And he bite it and he tell me, yeah, there's a cruncher. That's why I'm bringing it back to you now. Rowley did that with Emailgate. Max, sniff this and see if it's smelling funny. 6 months. But you come in the parliament as a matter of urgent national interest to say that they're going and kill Denise Rain, you know. They're going and kill she. But me and Max, we hold it for 6 months. We tell Denise, and we tell the media, and we ain't call the police.
And it's even more crazy. The PNM is on trial.
I want my black brothers and sisters from River Estate, Patna, Bagatelle, Covine, Mason, Rich Plain, Factory Road, Diamond Vale, La Puerta, Sanganga, Abipujad, Big Yard, Scorpion. I want you all to listen to what your Prime Minister think is his area. Listen, all you in his area too is all your feed each other, is all your vote, is all your voter. But listen to what Oreo think is his area, they go Martin West.
Because those of us who were here and carried the O'Halloran stain, we cannot take the position that this is all talk. In 1986, when we went to campaign in my area, I was there. I don't know who else was there. I was there. And you're going door to door, and they're slamming doors in your face in Westmoreland, in Glencoe, in Bayshore, and all they tell you about is take the position that this is all talk. In 1986, when we went to campaign in my area, I was there. I don't know who else was there. I was there. And you're going door to door, and they're slamming doors in your face in Westmoreland, in Glencoe, in Bayshore, and all they tell you about is O'Halloran. And today,
not one mention of a black community. Not one. I was there. I don't know who else was there, but I was there in my area, in Westmoreland, in Glencoe, in Bayshore. One to the Rich Plain. Not your area. Bagatelle, Covine, Factory Road, Mason, La Puerta, Sanganga, Abipujad, Big Yard, Scorpion, Caranage. That is your area. How you only know big shot white people area, Oreo? And you want to say to your supporters to whip them into a racist frenzy that when Kamala called you a Oreo, she meant you was a house nigger. Brother, she can't get them to think so. Your actions make it look so. Because I played for them again.
Today, who were here and carried the O'Halloran stain, we cannot take the position that this is all talk. In 1986, when we went to campaign in my area, I was there. I don't know who else was there. I was there. And you're going door to door, and they're slamming doors in your face in Westmoreland, in Glencoe, in Bayshore, and all they tell you about is
by their fruits.
That this is all talk.
By their fruits, you will know them.
When we went to campaign
Mouth
in my
open,
area,
Tory
I
jump
was
out.
there. I don't know who else was there. I was there. And you're going door to door, and they're slamming doors in your face in Westmoreland, in Glencoe, in Bayshore, and all they tell you about is
hush your ass, Rowley. Nobody need to hear from you. You're bitter, you're dirty, you stink. And the only thing you bring to the table is lies. You have two tongues in your head. Everything you said when you was in opposition, you contradict when you was in government. You fool people. You lie on Manning to thief he work. You lie on the last government to get their own. And now that you're in office, all you and your friends doing is thieving out the nation. Thieving it out. So don't come to inflame your followers and fool black people. Black people, Kamala can't lead black people astray, brother. The reason, Keith Rowley, that black people don't like you is because you is a nasty fella. You cannot be trusted. You are a liar. You've escaped justice. We've never gotten answers on Landate and Cleaver Heights, to name a few. But you are a nasty, nasty man. and stop trying to pretend that anybody else in this country could get black people to see you for what you are. The people of Mova, Beetham, Laventille, and Silots deserve better than the PNM. And I know they could never choose the UNC. Why? Because the UNC had a chance twice. But because the UNC have to play racist games, because they have to sit down in the cabinet and say, listen, if you do too much for black people, Indian people ain't gonna vote for we. Gypsy tell the people, or they vote for we, or they have nothing to get. Jack Warner say, I look outside my office and I ain't see no Indians in the march. It is bullshit racism designed to fool the nation, divide, conquer, and rule. Political lies and deception, both sides of that divide. But Mova, Beetham, Laventille, and Silots, like every other community in this country, deserve better. The poor, the dispossessed, the at-risk deserve better, even if they don't know that they are entitled to better. Even if, you know, when you go to train as a lifeguard, one of the things they teach you how to do is how to knock somebody out with a punch. Because you might have to knock that person out to save them. You could go and try to save somebody who nearly drowned your ass in a panic. Even when people don't know you're there to save them, they still deserve saving. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago deserve a better nation. Everybody. Everybody who's still here on the SS Titanic deserve a rescue. Everybody. Everybody. Ignore the bullshit. Ignore the distraction. Ignore the racism. Keith Rowley fanning you into racist inflammation, not helping you, not giving you food on your table, not giving you a better education for your children, hope and opportunity. It is lies and despair. The country is broken, broken, broken by design. This nation, and he's not the only Oreo. Kamala is an Oreo too. Pandey was an Oreo. Pandey campaigned against the white stuff, called them the parasitic oligarchy, get into power, and went and played golf with them for 5 years. Stop taking chain up. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule, to justify their bull. The race card they always pull. Uproar, uproar, uproar.
I visited Parliament chamber, witness an orchestra, a bang, 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 of only politicians rated their performance and style, talent and endurance, a bang, 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 of parliamentarians.
Politics that encourage hate,
Make it good for
discriminate, riches replaced by gates, nurturing racism,
prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism, Marxism from the UNC and the PNM, COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony with the TOP, MSJ and GC and D, political symphony. It's a symphony.
Every party have their own Syrians. Uncle and nephew, one on one side, the other on the other side. PNM have a Gillette, UNC have a Gillette, PNM have a Montano, UNC have a Montano. All you get it played for fools.
Stop taking it cool. Don't be playing for fool.
Uncle pass the butter, pass the salt. Nephew, I need that contract pass. Don't worry now, uncle.
They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule.
The Chinese say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today. The best time to have diversified this economy was in the 80s. The next best time is now. The best time to have right-sized Petrotrain and stop the political gerrymandering that created positions like president, vice president, senior vice president, ultra vice president, bullshit positions, drawing $200,000, $400,000 salary because you're friends with the prime minister. Kamala didn't fix it. Rowley didn't fix it. Manning didn't fix it. Pandey didn't fix it. All of them continue to benefit from it. And the chickens have come home to roost. Everything in this country is broken. Nothing works, but it is broken by design. The good news is that it can fix, that the country is blessed and perfectly poised to rebound. We may have to work hard to get it done, but we will get it done. But we cannot get it done if you keep putting the criminals that put us in this position back in government. There is a remedy that the Constitution provides to solve this problem, and it is your vote. And if you use your vote wisely, we will be able to rescue this country. Sideline and orchestrate and belt stone to the people who actually getting the job done. We can't get distracted. To the members of the Progressive Empowerment Party, stay focused. We are changing the way the politics is done. We are changing the national conversation. Stay focused. Stay the course. Your souls.
If they are the reason why the economy goes brown, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the passy laws that them alone can flout, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the building ISOs,
east, west, north, and south. Yes, that's how you vote them in.
vote them out. Register and vote them out. Totally
Vote them out.
take no finger and
Vote them out.
rescue the country. Vote them out. Vote them out with tempo. They happy in vain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out with
was working before they come, fire their incompetent ass. If Petrotrin collapsed, but it was working before they come, fire their incompetent ass. 28 schools still can't open. You say the earthquake shake them loose, but you could have power washed Taruba twice for one cricket match. Fire their incompetent ass. Kid Rowley is a shit snake and a shithung and a jackass of class. He is surrounded by a cabal, and I want you to use one of those magic electron microscope that could see into the future and find the black man in that cabal. All of y'all who call in the PNM the black party, Rowley, you keep bringing up race. Let me have this conversation. If the PNM is the black people party, explain Mova, Peter, Lavantel, and Silos. Explain the condition. I'm waiting for y'all at your level, Rowley, to tell us black people stupid, you know, because it's all you want to say it. You're that close to saying it. Because we get them house, we get them handout, we get them education. We anyone, that's what they're saying. That's what your Uncle Tom's at them saying. The 700,000 people that living in those communities I call. You consign River Estate and Bagatelle to a life of squalor, you and your PNM. So if the PNM is the black people party, Kid Rowley, walk in Factory Road without your bodyguards. Walk Cocorate. Walk in Big Yard. PNM is a black people party. Take your cabal. You and Faris and Stewarty and Franklin and Colm and the 2 and 3 little Syrian dragon behind you. Take them and walk in Waterhole. Go up in Gonzales. Climb them steps. Go in Never Dirty and Beverly Hills. Go and bounce some ball in Covine. Come. And there's a black party. Call the black community names. Don't just talk Westmoreland and Bayshore and Victoria Gardens, Kid Rowley. If the PNM is the black party that you say it is, why it is black people in Trinidad and Tobago are top of the charts for homelessness, murder, crime, poverty, drug addiction? How come? How come they are the bottom of the charts? You say that PNM is the black people party. How come the black people own the least amount of anything? Homes, businesses, anything. How come for 80% of our independent history, the black party has had control, social and economic control of this country? How come South and East Port of Spain so dangerous? How come? How come? Matters before the courts. People incarcerated. How come? How come? Keep Christopher Mugabe, Sabga Rowley, first black Syrian, king of the infidels. If you say that the PNM is black people party, how come black people have it so hard in the third wealthiest nation in the Western world? Explain to the black people of Morvan, Beetham, Lavantel and Silots, $3 trillion later, how they come to live, how they live. Explain that, Keith Rowley. Explain it. I exposed you in 2015. You and Stewarty Boy went and sit on rattan furniture under the salmon tree in Goodwood Park and spoke with the residents. But you went under the big tree by Acton Court and summoned the natives from up the road. Why two standards? Why treat black people with such naked contempt and disregard? Why no laws to protect black people from the rapacious and plundering banking elite? Why no attempt to bring the price of food down? Why no attempt to unite the money in unit trusts and First Citizens Bank and link them through the Home Mortgage Bank and provide home ownership credit facilities for all, 0 deposit, 0 interest, up to 30 years for poor black people, so that even sandwich artists in Subway and baton twirlers in Amalgamated could own a home. If the PNM, Keith Rowley, is the Black People Party, how come not one policy elevates the condition of the black man and black woman in this country? You want to talk race, defend your party's atrocious track record to the grandchildren of Africa. Forget what they do, Indian people. All you marginalize and isolate and forget them, Indian people learn to survive in spite of the PNM. All them things we just talk about, Sahina, Kachori, doubles, Baigani, all that is Indian people learning how to take the same split peas, flour and oil and whatever they could grow in the garden. We now we have created an entire food culture, sada roti and everything you could think of. Chop up okra, chop up karaili, chop up tomato, all kind of fancy name, choka, and sada. To survive the PNM in the third wealthiest nation in the world, when the foodies and Valdez and Tory and Ross Advertising and McCann Erickson and Lonsdale Sachi and Sachi want to talk about with food culture, let them know it was born out of abuse from the PNM. Because all them food that we want to take nice fancy shots of now was the last stand before starvation. Eric Williams do that. If the PNM, brother, is the Black People Party, why life so hard for black people in this country? Syrian people, eyes are half Syrian, drag their ass. I telling you, I watching people today is 100 millionaires. When we was in school, they didn't have 2 pennies to hang on them up. How come they accelerate in this country? What happened to the black community? When Mario Sadgar Aboud say he opened a store a month for 10 years. 10 years, 126 stores. How he get that money? Who helped him? I remember he was driving a little Suzuki carry. He started off with a 2x4. Pittsburgh Boys across from the drag mall on Frederick Street. I remember giving cokes away with a burger. How we get 126 stores in 10 years? And why the black community don't have access to that money? How come? You want to talk race, Rowley? You sure you want to raise that issue? Because I want to tell you something. Black people in Trinidad and Tobago suffer because of the PNM. Because of the PNM. Nothing works. And it is time we open our people's eyes to their true condition. Nobody gets a share. All you're trying to thief out all. Petrotrin worth billions. Petrotrin worth billions of dollars. I sit down in poker. Watch man start off with big money, come down to nothing, borrow from the casa and leave with bigger money. You know now is the ebb. There's a flow. There's an ebb when Petrotrin is not going to make. But there will be a flow again in the future when the same Petrotrin will deliver $500 billion either to our economy or to the 1%ers that's slobbering and dripping from their mouth, trying to sink their fangs into it. The people of this country have been misled and abused by the PNM for far too long. And the real political mission is to wake them up. You can't elect the UNC. The UNC had 2 chances to fix this shit. And they use it instead to make little 2x4 ass-dragging Indians into billionaires. 90 car in the garage. Watch we. We successful. We children jetting all over the world because we learn how to thief money paving road. Trinidad and Tobago. Not one government, not one, has had the best interests of the people at heart. So we either fix it or we go down with it. But that is where we reach. So, guess what? The ball in we court, the Constitution, God bless it, offers a remedy. It's your vote. And it is time that you use your vote properly. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.